this is like more like a thought experiment. So one of the things I noticed recently that there in here you start seeing a lot of AI generated text popping up. Like if you go to LinkedIn, actually, it's very easy to spot. A lot of people just forget to clean up the AI response, or maybe they like don't understand or don't read the response from the AI. But you can see often like responses like, "Oh, certainly, here's your biography," or "Certainly, here's your nice and shiny CV." So I thought, it would be interesting to actually assess how much of like bullshit or like the web generated nonsense you can see on the internet, and can I actually use Cloudy for this? So I've been using Cloudy like as one of the tools, mainly because it makes MCP integrations easy, and if I need certain functionality, I could basically go and grab get it accessible through MCP to the Cloudy. I'm using here like the Claude Desktop, and I start with like very simple prompt. You are an AI investigator. That's basically what I thought intuitively. There are like certain starting words that identify X text. Can you do this? And I think it kind of like played along. It identified me like a table, which I think more or less it does seem realistic. I think it actually got the correct results. So one of the interesting things that I wanted to do is actually like break down the existing internet. So like we got the table, it got like breakdown by different platforms. Not surprised, people post a lot of AI generated context on LinkedIn, Medium, maybe some on Reddit. So I decided to basically investigate deeper. And one of the questions I started having, like, you see, it all looks nice, but is this actually a real data? But before we move on, like, let's just like mentally assess it. And yeah, customer support, you would probably expect to have a lot of AI presence in it. Content marketing, Medium, job description. So it did it accurately. And it's also what I found useful is that it also came up with some of the detection methods that I was not aware of. For example, I never heard of like Google having the watermarking for whatever they generate in AI context, like to basically detect the AI context. So I kept basically poking around, but then at one point I was like, those are like real examples, and then it turned out that it's basically it's not. It's so basically what Cloudy did. It basically took all the public sources, distilled the content from other researchers, and the statistics we have is not what Cloudy actually fetched from the web, but it's what is available as a public domain knowledge. So I thought, but I actually really want actual examples. So what I did in this case, I went and installed an MCP server, and what I'm using here is MCP Brave Search. So like just let it access, and like I was like, yeah, let's retry. After I had the MCP research, let's retry to fetch those artifacts. I think there were a couple of failures when it was trying to generate, but at one point it actually started finding the results. So I gave it a specification. So I want to look at LinkedIn, Medium, all the sites that it outlined would be more likely to have the actual results. And I think I looked over some of the posts. They do indeed appear as AI generated. Especially there was a Medium post that I found, like all the posts from that person basically were like he was posting every like 2 posts every day, and you can see it's all like AI generated images and AI generated content. So I think it to some extent it managed to get me. Let me see if I can. Yeah, so I asked it to basically produce me like some of the examples, and like it pulled them off like nicely. So I tried to do some visualization for this, like just to break down, and you see the statistics actually got skewed. So when it started pulling the data from the actual internet, Medium was actually like a prevalent source. So at this point, I think I ran out of like quote for this chat, so I moved to another chat, and I started like from the same prompt. just because I didn't. And one of the things that I'm using here, so I can move the knowledge between the chats. I'm using the memory MCP, so I can basically store all the artifacts that were found in this conversation, start a new chat, and basically reuse the knowledge that was found in the previous conversation. I find this very useful. But basically, I asked it to redo the same thing just so we have the data, and I gave it a bunch of websites to generate the content. Now, like it started using actively Brave search. It built me a breakdown of how many linked posts we found with nonsense like content, how many Medium pages, and so on. And finally, in the past, I was actually a big fan of Maltego because I do investigations mainly, and I like everything to be presented in graph. What I actually noticed that like once I'm happy with the results, what I can actually do, I can tell it to visualize everything into like kind of Maltego style graph. So in fact, like it actually started replacing about like 60% of my use cases when I want to have the data represent visually, because the memory plugin that I'm using, the MCP server, it stores data in form of the graph knowledge. So basically, whenever I ask it to do the visualization, it pulls all the artifacts from that memory MCP and draws it out. So that's basically my exploration, and I'm open to any questions. I think I didn't really read the chat, but are there any questions?
A lot of people saying more, please.
Well, yeah, I have another topic, but let's keep it for the next session, basically. But I'm a big fan of like
Think about
MCP. So yeah,
essentially what MCP server you used.
I'm running all the MCPs locally as a Docker. I can show you the like configuration. Just one sec. So basically, you can see like my current configuration. So I have like passive DNS MCP, I have VirusTotal MCP, I have Hand.io MCP. I've been working on Validin MCP. I store some data in AWS Athena, so I have MCP server that basically talks to AWS Athena and pulls the data from some of the S3 buckets, Brave, and I can add additional MCPs like on and off. One thing, like you see, I actually have file system MCP that allows MCP, like that allows Cloudy to have local file access. One thing to keep in mind, like every time like an MCP call is issued, you can approve it always or once. I'm trying to be very careful not to do approve it always, because sometimes it comes up with the logic and there is no time for you to actually review as a start executing. So if you do approve always access to file system, I suspect that eventually something will happen that my file system gets wiped out. So I'm very careful with the local file system. With APIs, not so much. I set up caps on the limits, like for Farsight, I think it's like 2,000 calls a day. So if it goes over the cap somehow, I should basically live with it because I won't have access to Farsight for a day. But other than this, yeah. And most of the MCP servers actually I generate through Cloudy as well. So like, hey, here's a cool API. I'll pull off the doc and it's like, let's make an MCP server for this, and I run it in Docker. That's kind of my approach.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.